All right, welcome back, everybody. It's Rudy with Alpha Investments. It's our first Kaldheim, such a strange name, discussion video as we leave 2020 and march boldly into 2021. I mean, that alone should at least get 3.5 thumbs down, am I right? So, I want to give you guys my perspective, what I see going on. Obviously, everybody knows I don't really follow the spoiler season very closely. I think the whole thing's a little bamboozly and a little just, it's just a bunch of, it's a Fugazi fairy dust. It's just, people get all wound up about whatever the flavor of the day is, and I find it a little kind of blah. But overall, this is what I see going on right now. We're seeing a lot of movement on the anything snow-covered, Ice Age, old school related thing back in the 90s. We're seeing some movement on the cold snap stuff. Obviously, being this Viking kind of theme, a lot of snow, cold, ice stuff for this first quarter here. We got our set booster boxes coming, collector booster boxes coming, regular draft boxes coming, commander deck set coming. Good Lord. 1, 2, 3, 4 products for this release coming at the end of January, somewhere around the end of January. Based on what I'm seeing right now, I'm seeing kind of normal pricing. Draft booster boxes are bouncing around between 90 and 100 online, plus taxes usually. Collector boxes of the Kaldheim, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. They're sitting around like maybe $225 to $250, depending if you're paying tax or not on TCG Player and eBay. So average price maybe $240 with shipping and taxes out the door online. Pretty normal for a collector box, not really high or low. It's kind of, I think, isn't that kind of technically an MSRP, but we're not allowed to say MSRP because the Bobs get mad if we say MSRP, so we act like MSRP doesn't exist, right? I think that's how it works. Set booster box is an interesting one. The set booster boxes are a little higher than I thought they'd be. I thought set boxes would be like 110, maybe 115 at the most, but they're still sitting at like almost 130 plus tax, which is about 140 to 145 for most people. That seems a little higher than I thought they would be, especially on the backs of Wizards really ramping up production and the supply chain for the set boxes. And the word on the street as of right now is we're going to have a higher supply of set boxes at release and a tighter supply, giggity, of the actual draft boxes. It's kind of the reversing the supply a little bit. Seems to be the word on the street. One distributor confirms that. Another one says they don't know yet. There's a lot of back and forth. We don't know the answer to that, but I guess I just thought the price would be a little bit more. I feel like set booster boxes, again, the Zendikar thing being the first time they ever made it, and then all their supply problems and 2020 issues, we can't really use that as a good benchmark on pricing. So I'm kind of not really using that as a good variable. But it feels to me set boxes should be like 110. That's kind of how it feels like the price range should be. So, yeah. Okay, as far as moving forward, how I think the market's going to unfold, well, I know a lot of people don't really want to hear it, but I actually believe in 2021, Magic's going to have another home run year. But I don't specifically kind of point the finger at Papa Hasbro or Wizards. I actually believe collectibles as a whole are going to continue to be very strong across the board. I think inflation is going to be a big thing. I think Flesh and Blood is going to continue to boom. I think Pokemon's going to continue to just kind of stay about the same, very, very hot. I think even the Weiss, the Buddy Fights, well, Buddy Fight's dead. Weiss, Card Fight, Vanguard, Yu-Gi-Oh! And of course, I've been hearing about, everybody keeps asking about Digimon, this new TCG they're bringing back. Unfortunately, I will not be carrying it at this time. I want to kind of see what happens. Don't have a lot of confidence in the Bandais and some of these companies. They're sloppy sometimes, you know. I see a lot of strength across the board in collectibles as a whole. And I feel that Wizards is going to have a very strong year. I really do. I think kicking off the year with this Kaldheim, this new kind of snowy covered block, I mean, historically, people like it. Cold Snap was a low printed product, but it was very successful. During the launch period, it kind of came out strong, but it was kind of soft. Didn't really shake up the world, but it was a well-received product. Obviously, way back at the beginning, technically, Cold Snap was the end of the 3-set block, but whatever. Alliances and, of course, original Ice Age from the 90s, both were obviously home run products, printed to oblivion on the Ice Age side. I think the Kaldheim thing is going to be, I think there's going to be the standard thing. You're going to have a lot of people disappointed based on lack of power level or strength is my prediction. And then I think we're going to have the standard, very frustrating people who are trying to maybe do a mass box opening on draft boxes. And I think there's going to be a lot of people disappointed in that. I expect Wizards to tweak the list in the Kaldheim set booster boxes. I would expect them to either make a new list, modify the current list, maybe remove some cards, add some cards. If I had to guess, I would think it's probably going to be a slight uptick in financial value or a slight uptick in the list to help make sure those Kaldheim set boxes sell well. I would expect a slight increase in financial value and maybe a slight decrease in the amount of commons maybe you can get in the list for the set boxes to help them out. I think they're kind of still trying to find that sweet spot. I don't think they've figured it out yet. So, as far as collector boxes go, I'm they seem to be sticking with this weird thing where we get release, we don't get enough collector boxes to handle the demand for everybody around the country. The price is bottleneck. They kind of squeeze upward because just everything disappears. Everybody gets frustrated. Stores can't sell them. The individual players, collectors, evil investors have to pay a higher price for them. So everybody's frustrated. Versus if there's just more of them, the stores could sell more, which makes them happier because they make the same amount of money. You just lower the price, but you sell more. It's the same thing, which makes the customers and the end user happier because they're not paying as much. So but we seem to be on this path. And again, I know 2020, supply problems, Carta Monday, different shifts, left employees, I get it. But it seems to be this thing where we get a batch, it's not enough, and then 30 to 60 days later, when we get the next Magic release, then all of a sudden, the previous Magic release, the rest of the supply shows up. Unless, of course, you're Jumpstart, because it's just funnier that way, and apparently they just don't exist, and they're literally just made underground or something. I don't know. I don't know why that's going on, because Zendikar Collectors was a great example of that. To this day, I still like it better than Commander Legends collector boxes. I like the Zendikar Collectors better. I mean, look, you get so many expeditions, and it's just a fun product. And it's not, compared to $300 a box for a Commander Legends collection, I just think it's a better enjoying experience, a better value. But, the fact that Wizards didn't get us the rest of the Zendikar collectors till so late, it caused problems. So, that's my perspective on it. But overall, I do think the Kaldheim thing, without even, because I'm not into the spoiler thing. I like to be surprised. You guys know that. I'm old school. That's when everyone loves to wait for Rudy to do the first box opening of a new set. Because I just experience it as if it's the 90s thing. That's kind of one of my favorite things to do. I look forward to on doing the box openings on a new set. Where the first few videos I get to learn and see crazy stuff. And it's fun for me. I enjoy it. I truly do. But I really do. I think 2021 is going to be a really strong year, everybody. I don't know about equities and debts, stock markets, the economy as a whole. I think we're going to continue to have a very big divergence between segments and sections of the economy that boom and money's just sloshing around. And I think you're going to have another segment of the country and a lot of the workers and people that are just going to feel like they're getting left behind. I think we're going to be continuing this trend. I don't agree with it. I don't know how they're ever going to fix it, or government or intervention or whatever, but that's what I see going on, and I feel it's going to continue. And I still like to use the word inflation, and because we're going to continue to see inflated prices, and these prices inflating are going to be some items appreciating in value, and a lot of other items that are simply just being inflated due to either money printer goes burr, or simply just the rich people looking for places to park money. You're going to have all these different forces at work. We're seeing a lot of spillover in Pokemon and Flesh and Blood right now, just people just all over the place and money moving everywhere. And I think the lineup Magic has for 2021 is going to be very strong. I think there's going to be a lot of turbulence, a lot of pissed off people, including myself and many others, on more Secret Lair crossovers like The Walking Dead's. I think, we can all squirm and be angry all we want, but I think for Papa Hasbro and Wizards, it's going to continue to be very profitable, very successful, and I'm willing to be on record at the end of 2020 here that Magic could have a record-setting, setting the bar even higher 2021. I expect very strong numbers, higher prices from Wizards. I expect them to raise prices. I think people are going to be pissed when they find out Modern Horizons 2 is going to cost more. I have a feeling that just across the board, I even expect the standard boxes in 2021. I'm telling you, I expect them to raise the price again. I expect them to raise the price of everything. Why? Because they can get away with it, and we're all going to pay it. This is kind of my prediction coming up here, what I see. So I really don't see a lot of bearish, negative things in the collectible world right now. Things will eventually have to cool off and stabilize, but I don't see like a quote-unquote crash coming. But again, there's still a lot of underlying problems across the board with Wizards' print quality and the quantity of products. But as long as the raw data reflects a bullish market, I don't think Wizards is going to change, slow down, or really make a lot of modifications or increase their quality of the product they're selling us. That's kind of my overall perspective right now, and I think that's just kind of where we're at. And I'll go down to the basement and call it a day. I don't think we're going to see anything else, and this just is what it is, everybody. That's my opinion.